So can we be happy without having all the answers? Human intellect is quite inquisitive naturally. That's why we have all the sciences. We have discovered so many things pertaining to how things work, but what makes it work is still a mystery. Science hasn't been able to answer why things happen. It's like the missing link, a big one. And throughout human history, we've been trying to resolve the unknowable force that's making all of this happen. And of course, we have many religions that have been formed out of, what may have been a profound insight from someone, but the collective mind co-opted it, turning the unknowable and the unexplainable into concepts and into stories. It's unspeakable truths that can only be experienced directly, but the instant somebody puts it into words and concepts, it is no longer it. And this is how all religions have been formed. When the consensus mind agrees upon a conceptual model of somebody's profound, unspeakable insight, and then this belief system evolves that really bears no resemblance to what the original insight was. So that is basically what mind does. My words even now are being grasped at by people's minds and formed into some sort of conceptual explanation instead of pure hearing from a deeper place within. Because it just has to know, doesn't it? Mind just has to know. We have to have an intellectual grasp on it, an understanding. And we all do it as we build our personal belief systems over the course of our lives. And then we're taught basically to never question our beliefs, even if somewhere deep inside, where we don't like to acknowledge it, there lies some sort of hidden doubt. So again, can we be content without having an explanation for everything? Is it possible we were never intended to know everything while we are in these human bodies? Is it possible that our bandwidth is intentionally set to this? Now, deep insights and profound experiences related to the fundamental nature of reality are something that really can't be spoken. Whatever is put into language about it simply is not it. We are capable of having direct experience. All the senses are a direct experience. But what happens almost in an instant is a sort of meaningful thought story in the mind is created about it. And this is how we impress meanings upon everything that we experience in life. I'm doing it right now. Being able to build a meaningful narrative about our experience is simply incredible and beautiful as a capability. And it gives me a sense of wonder and a rush of emotional energy. See, we do it with everything. It's how we make our experience meaningful, whether it makes us feel good or it makes us feel bad. But often we go beyond this impression of meaning, and we frequently will create a whole drama about it, an entire explanation, especially the stuff that we assign a "this hurts" kind of meaning. It's always just mind posturing as a me that's in survival mode, struggling to understand and to define experience by creating a storyline of thought out of those feelings. And usually the storyline is always running in the background, ready to interpret everything that happens and ready to incorporate it into the identity structure and the belief system. But when a person experiences their nature apart from the mental, apart from the conceptual self-image, they can, say over time, develop a more neutral relationship with thoughts and even the meanings that are impressed upon experience. So life begins to be experienced without this constant spinning of stories and drama out of everything. The sticky, it's like super glue. The sticky super glue nature of thought becomes lessened. We become more okay with not having a reason for everything. So that is why I like to encourage those watching to become curious about the nature of life, the nature of mind and beliefs. But getting to that point most often comes out of a place of desperate surrender, a laying down of the defenses. And most often we get to that point because we're desperately seeking some sort of relief from our struggle and from our pain. And it's when the words, "I don't know," are felt throughout our entire being, throughout our whole body, when we fully surrender to the "I don't know," and the struggle to understand relaxes. It's often at this point that people are ready for some sort of profound insight, where the mind's self-definitions drop away and where the old paradigms are surrendered. The logical and the rational mind steps aside because it just can't understand, it doesn't have to, in order to have a direct experience of ultimate reality. And what people often find is that it's not something that's forced. It's something that's relaxed into, surrendered into, where we touch into unknowingness and discover the undescribable that has been there all along. This is the shift that sometimes people call waking up, but it is never what people imagine it to be, because the mind can't comprehend or understand it. And this is how we begin to live in peace without having all the answers, without believing a particular story about why. And this shift, this waking up, it can have the feeling like you just showed up in life, like you just showed up in your life. You just arrived in life. It's unremarkable, but yet familiar and natural feeling, but it's also profound, but it's not magical or mystical. It has the sense of arriving at a new starting point in life. Like, oh, thank God, that was all a dream. It's like pure grace pouring over you. That's not to say we don't have to confront all the accumulated conditioning, but since something has awakened or been realized within us, it's just not experienced the same way. It's like we've awakened at the deep level of ourselves. I think Alan Watts described it like that. And everything comes into light. Everything comes to the surface. We're no longer able to repress. Even if we might try to repress it, it's just something we do out of habit. But more and more, we develop a willingness to address everything that needs to be addressed so that we can become freer and freer. And gradually, we become less and less identified and attached to our beliefs, to our resentments, to all of our stances and our opinions, because now we see all of it as mental, not having any substance in and of itself. We're freer, we're more whole, we're not contracted and not repressed. So those who haven't tasted this might argue that we're denying our humanity if we surrender our identity. But when we touch into this, we are actually more human, having a stronger sense of our aliveness. It's like an upgraded operating system. We're not surrendering our humanity. We are surrendering our belief in the illusion that we had about our humanity. And this continues to unfold more and more as we integrate the realization into our lives. And we know that which can't be spoken of. Pointed towards, maybe, but words will fail. These words that I'm speaking right now are failing. This is the best way, in my limited human ability, I can describe how we can be happy without having all the answers about life, about time, about the world, about the universe. I hope this helps somebody out there. Be well, my friends, and I will see you all next time.